Hey, welcome to Love and Liberate. I'm Emilie, your host. I'm a self-leadership coach, embodiment teacher, artist, and an activist for love. Now, I don't mean the fluffy kind of love. I'm talking about the real, the raw, confronting kind of love, the kind that cracks you wide open and liberates you, creating a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Because that is what I believe life truly is about. So through personal stories and inspiring, soul-stirring conversations on all things healing, embodiment, and spirituality, I'll help you navigate the good, the bad, and the ugly with tangible tools, fresh perspectives, and of course, a truckload of love. Here's to loving and liberating, one heart at a time. Oh, hey, you're back, and so am I. Today, we're going to talk about, oh yes, the family season, because Christmas is nearly upon us. And that means that we are all going to be confronted with our core wounds, motherfuckers. Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, you cannot go to your family, but then still you're going to be confronted with the fact that probably the majority of your environment is with their families. I mean, very much depending on your religion, depending on your belief system, depending on your all of that. But there is something about this time of year that kind of forces you to reevaluate the situation that is going on inside yourself when you are inside your home. Your family of origin's home. And why am I saying situation inside of you? Because I want to emphasize what is going on inside of you. And I want to also remind you of the fact that that is where your power lies. It's where you have the experience of this is very uneasy, or this is not nice, or this feels unsafe. That's the experience inside of you. But then also what you make that mean and how you decide to interact with those sensations and those beliefs and those experiences that you're having inside of yourself, that is going to be either your way out of the situation or your way deeper into the dirt that you're, bringing up for yourself. Because that's what family does. It's like a sage once said. He said, or she, or they, said, if you think you're enlightened, go spend 3 days with your family, and then we'll talk again. So, even by the sages of the sages in this world, it's known that it's pretty freaking hard to deal with your family. So, most important message of today, probably, is you are not alone. Absolutely not alone. That's number one. Number two, if family is hard, you're doing it right. Okay? So that's very comforting for me, I think. And then number three, I'm going to throw in some new perspectives, some new ways of looking at things, and also hand you some tools that maybe help you to make your way through this sometimes very challenging phase of holiday season. Whatever you take away, I hope at least that you take away compassion and softness and love in the first place for yourself, and maybe just a tiny tatsy-watsy for your family as well. All right, here's the episode. Let's go. So I'll start with a personal story because I know that's what you guys love to relate to the topic of today, and also to show a little, a little piece of my heart, because usually having other people opening up is just easier to slide into your own heart. So willing to do that for you, dear listener. I don't know who you are, but, here I am. This is me. So my personal family situation has been just like anybody else's, rather challenging. Now, at some point, I decided that for a few members of my family, it would be better to have a no contact policy, at least for a while. That's something that I decided a lot of years back, 6 or 7 years ago, I think. And it was pretty scary because at the time it wasn't hot. It wasn't cool. People weren't really doing that. We weren't talking about mental health. We weren't talking about how difficult families can be, how, we didn't have the mental health conversation publicly yet. It was difficult, and it was a very bold move to make. But I did it. I decided no contact for a while would be good. And, so that's what I decided. It was difficult because there was not a lot of understanding, but there was the respect for my decision, which is basically that's the most important part. And that was also, and that's usually what the wanting to cut ties with your family is really about. It's about the need to have your boundaries respected where they usually don't. And that is something that I want to talk about today, how families feel like they have the right to cross boundaries, especially when it's a parent towards a child. I mean, the other way as well, obviously, but parents towards children, I am not a parent myself, so I'm speaking from the child's perspective only. Even though I did a great deal of reparenting myself, so I feel like I'm already a great parent, but just for myself. So I don't have the experience of parenting an actual physical child. Anyway, that being said, the parent-child situation, I feel, is what happens in the beginning is you have this creature, this completely vulnerable, completely dependent on you creature that you take care of. And it places you in a place of power. Puts you in a place of power. And I think I hear a lot of my parent friends say that they find the responsibility they feel so pressing, like very, very difficult. And I think it's because you can see how vulnerable a child really is. And then it's your responsibility to not, well, primarily F the kid up, obviously, but I do feel there is a sense of power that one has over such a vulnerable creature that is very confronting, for whatever your patterns are, or whatever tricks or manipulations that you are used to or prone to get yourself out of situations or to make life easier for yourself. When you do these things to such a naive, innocent baby or child, that's actually, I'm imagining, the most confronting mirror of all times, because you know that the child in front of you literally is a child and is innocent. So it shows you where you lost your innocence and where you are, behaving in a way that is maybe not so charming or not in line with your values. And it's interesting to see how we as a society, we are starting to shift towards honoring the child and honoring inner childs of all of us, as well as we're all going to therapy and meeting our inner child. But also I feel finally, instead of looking down on a child and instead of feeling that place of power and using that power, there is a sort of, I wanted to say revenge, but that's really not what it's about. There is this standing up for the innocent, standing up for innocence in itself. And I feel also a standing up for vulnerability and for naivety and for all these qualities that children have, emotionality, permeability. I don't know. That's not a word. Permeable, you know. There's just qualities that I feel that children are showing us and teaching us, and we need to learn them from them, and we can only learn them from them because they are the you know, like the blank slates. They are the very honest reflection of ourselves and the world that we've created. And it's so often that people, once they have children, all of a sudden they become aware of the world that they've created or that they are a part of and co-creating with the rest of the world. So much activism or philanthropy comes once people have their own children, because now they understand that there is a greater structure that is going to be taking care of that vulnerable part of them now being their children, but in a broader and a therapeutical sense also the inner children that are inside of us, you know? And I love this shift towards we need to take better care of our children and people tending to their own inner childs, because it means that also there's more space for vulnerability, for emotions, for honesty, for rawness. And I believe those are very valuable teachers when there is a safe parent alongside of the kid. And when I look at today's society, I see a lot of very unsafe children acting out, like Trump, just to say one. And if there would be a safe parent instead of whatever kind of power-driven, I want to say lunatic that he has created to keep himself in check or to keep other people in check, there would be no Trump as we know it. He clearly is a product of a massive lack of, safe love and also safe and honest reflections. And so why am I saying all of this? Because I see in society reflected how we are taking care of our children and our own inner children. And I want to make a case for everybody to tend to their inner child as a way to go into this holiday season. So instead of going home and wanting or expecting for your parents to treat you with all the love and the compassion and the understanding that you feel that you need and deserve, how about you go to the Christmas feast knowing that you are the most loving and compassionate parent that is like on the planet even. So whenever something happens in a dynamic or in a situation, maybe even before interacting with or engaging in the tensions or in the situation that is presented to you, how about you retreat just for a moment, physically or just by taking a moment of silence, and really tend to that inner child that is responding, because you can be sure that when you are stepping into your childhood home, that is where the child will be awakened. That's no rocket science. So having that awareness is giving you already the biggest piece of the puzzle, because now you can take care of you. You know that there is one step between the trigger, oh, they said something or they did something or there we go again, and no. It's not my mom saying something to my inner child. It's my mom saying something, me seeing, noticing, witnessing that my inner child is being triggered and is responding to the situation, and I, the grown-up, am gonna stand right in between and make sure that my mom has no access to my inner child the way that was just displayed. I'm gonna take care of my inner child, and I'm gonna take care of my mom right now. And I'll set a loving, safe, healthy boundary to make sure that my inner child is still safe. That is a beautiful tool. It requires some self-reflection, self-awareness, but I'm sure that the people listening have that, because I know my listeners. Babe, I know you do. No, I'm serious, actually. It's a challenging exercise, and I'm not even claiming to be, to be able to practice this awareness and this distancing in the moment. But it's something that did help me quite a few times when I thought, when I needed it, basically. So, circling back to my story, I decided to cut ties with my family for a while. I felt that's what I needed to emancipate, to grow out of this child consciousness that I kind of felt stuck in, because sometimes the reason why the relationship with your family of origin is so tricky is because you can't allow yourself to grow into the adult. And so you kind of always still feel stuck in the child position. And that means, on one hand, wanting and expecting certain things from your family. But it also means that your responses aren't those of a grown-up. So the needs are not those of a grown-up, and also the responses aren't those of a grown-up. So that's a very tricky situation to be in. And even though we walk through the world as a grown-up, you get wrinkles, you get, things are getting saggy. That's you growing old, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's also you growing up. Growing old and growing up are two very different concepts, interestingly so. And again, back to my story. When I decided to cut ties, I felt I needed this space and the time to grow into me and to grow out of the role that I had been playing in my family. And it really did help me. At first, it just didn't feel safe enough, and I just didn't feel capable of placing healthy boundaries in the moment. So I needed that time away and that time apart. I don't however, believe in a forever cutting ties situation, and it needs a lot of nuance, because if you come from an extremely abusive household where there's physical abuse, there is at present, and there is substance abuse, and there's, addiction and all kinds of boundaryless behavior that you cannot possibly place healthy boundaries for, then of course cutting ties is, it's the healthiest option. But if that's not the case, I do feel that temporarily cutting ties and then coming back with everything that I discovered about myself, and with the desire to be the grown-up representing my inner child in my family system, that really changed the game for me. Doesn't mean that I feel like sipping tea with my family all day, but it does mean that I now feel confident walking into family gathering situations. Again, not to say that I'm never triggered, not to say that I'm always the composed, grown-up, adult version of myself. Not at all. But I have another layer of awareness that keeps my inner child safe. So that's one part that I really wanted to share with you, that I really see the value of taking time, taking a break from very unhealthy family dynamics in which you don't see a way out. And that I really do encourage coming back after you've taken your time off. Because, yes, family is an absolutely beautiful concept where the friends become the family, or the chosen family. Those are all terms that we're using nowadays a lot because, we're addressing mental health now, and we're no longer buying all the shit that is being told by our family system. We have, there is a whole world out there that we can discover still, that we can find love in all different aspects and ways and capacities. We have access to love, which is entirely new. So love and connection, I mean. And we don't need our family for survival anymore. So their sense of power, in a way, has also weakened. And this is why it's so interesting, because, yes, you can choose your family now, but the core wounds and the basic dynamics that are inherent to your family system, they live inside of you, motherfucker. Ain't no running away from that. So that's the good news. I mean, that's the bad news, actually. Wherever you go, there you are. But where you are, there's also your family system and their dynamics, But the good news, however, is that you have this family, that's my belief. You have it by choice. I believe we are a soul, and I believe that our souls choose the right situation and context for the lessons that we want to learn in this lifetime. Whether that's true or not for you, try out that perspective. It just lightens up the whole, I want to say shit, but the whole thing. It makes it so much less heavy. Lots of people call this Earth School, which is so sweet because that's implying that we are spirit, we are a soul, we are God, we are whatever you want to call it. And then, once in a while, we're just like, I'm going to do Earth School again. I'm going to try that out again. And if you look at it that way, it's just so much easier to digest that whole family debacle, So knowing that you are a soul wanting these lessons, yes, you can cut ties with your family, but wherever you go, you're going to find the same dynamics. The good news, again, I do want to emphasize, is that the dynamics are there, but the intensity is a lot less. So you are given the option or the opportunity of learning the same lessons, but just in a little less constantly triggering environment, let's say, when you're dealing with them in a family constellation instead of your family constellation. So that's the good thing about family, but bad thing, the real thing about it is just like you can't escape yourself, you know? And wherever you go, there's your family system. And again, that's the whole point of it, you know? And I even dare to take it a little tiny little step further. And it's a corny one, so buckle up. But I genuinely believe in whatever I just said, you know, the soul being on a mission here. And I actually believe that the whole hype of family and the chosen family, I think it's our little step up to understanding, appreciating, and really feeling that we really are all family. That we're all connected. That you are my sister, my brother, and my mother, and my father, and we all are each other's parents and siblings and all of it. I think that's the most nourishing, wholesome perspective available, where no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter how brief I meet you, having this consciousness of you are my family, we all are family, we're all related, and we're all here together, and we all need to take care of each other the way that we want to be taken care of as well. And it sounds so simple and it sounds so evident, you know. How are we not living by these values, by this idea, this concept? It's actually, that's the hardest thing to understand, really, is why are we not living like that? But here we are, effing things up like a crazy, but I do see things going and gearing in the right direction. That's my humble opinion. I always see a silver lining, and if I don't, I'll just draw it myself. You know what I mean? So, that being said, I really wish that for today you can take away maybe some tips and tricks of how to navigate the holiday season. Also, maybe a new perspective on yourself. I love the visual even of you and your inner child, you know, being an adult and having a child that you're constantly needing to tend to and fend for and protect, and, you know, all of that. And if that is the case for you, then that's the case for everyone. And so maybe you want to take this perspective, this view on the world and on the people around you into the world. I actually practice that very often because I just think it's such a fun way of walking through the world, is whenever I see somebody maybe acting out or maybe not even, just sitting in the I don't know, in the bus, and I can look at them and really be like, oh, you got an inner child. I wonder what they want. I wonder how they sound, you know. Sometimes it's clear what they sound like when they're acting out. But, you know, this little game of awareness, understanding that we're all housing many, many, many different inner children from different ages and different stages and life phases and different moments, and that's just, I think, a beautiful perspective. And that really is what I believe the real flex is, reparenting yourself and you being your own best parent. So you no longer need your own physical parents to give you all the things that they couldn't give you. And they, I hate to say it, but probably will never give it to you. Like, if you're in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or your 50s, I mean, it doesn't even matter how old you are. Maybe your parents aren't even there anymore, but chances are rather slim that all of a sudden they're going to see the light and give you everything that you need. That's on you now, babe. You got to take care of you now. And it's not your partner, it's not your friends, it's not your family, it's not your family either. It's you. You need to make sure that your primary needs are met. And those are compassion and love, understanding, grace. Oh God, give your inner child some grace. I think that's such a beautiful word and such a beautiful worth, such a beautiful value. So yeah, all of that being said, there's one more thing, the most important thing. And just try it out. What if we really are all family? How different would you move through the world? As always, if you want to share, I love to hear from you. You can find all my communications in the show notes, and I would love to have you back next episode. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Here's to loving and liberating, one heart at a time.